It's time to get started. We are doing day one of our 5-day website bootcamp, and going to give it a second though. I want to get started right away. Oh, we have someone here already. Good, perfect. You're on. Okay, so I can see the comments. This is actually on YouTube Live. I'm also going live on Instagram at the same time, but Instagram is not going to see my slides or all the information. So you guys can always head over to YouTube if you want to check this out. If you have not registered for this and you happen to see this, it's a 5-day website bootcamp that I'm going to help you revamp or get started with your website in 5 days, or Monday through Friday. And if you haven't registered, go over to ashesyoga.com. You'll see a pop-up that comes up. So ashesyoga.com or ashleyrosehagen.com, any of my websites, go to it. If you go to my offering tree site, a pop-up comes up. The exact link is ashesyoga.com/WWB, Website Warrior Bootcamp. Hello, I see a few comments coming in just saying hello, hello. Of course, the regular thing is let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're tuning in from. That is like the best question to ask, just because I really like to see what time zones we're seeing. And anyone who is in Europe right now, great job making it on with the time change for the US being sooner, a couple weeks earlier than you. So you got the time change correctly. So good job. The replay is available directly after this. So no worries if you're like, I can't watch right now, or I don't have the time. We're going to be live every day at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific this time. But if you can't make it, replays immediately after, same link, making it very easy on you. But let's get to it, shall we? So this is our website bootcamp. It's about getting organized today, getting organized. And also before we start, if you have any questions, I am live here. So please post your questions in the chat, in the comments, so that I can answer them either now while on this training, or I can also come back and answer it later. Or I might say, that's something we're going to cover soon. All right. So everyone has a drink, a beverage, stay hydrated. You got a notebook with a Paw Patrol sticker on it. Got a notebook, got your pens, got your phone. However you want to take notes, I do recommend it. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Okay, cool. New York, United Kingdom, New Jersey, Texas, Spain, Norway. Amazing. Okay, let's get to it. So this is our website bootcamp, day one. We are talking about getting organized. Now, if you have not downloaded the workbook yet, let me show you where that's at, because I thought I uploaded it yesterday and gave it to everybody. I did not. It's either in the email you just got, or if you go to, here we go. If you go to, not that one. Oh, remove that one. If you go to the directory page that I share in all of the places, you'll see day one video, or not day one, the pre-work video, which I hope that you all watch. So if you haven't seen this, this is in all of the emails. I say go to the directory page, because what this page is going to give you is this 18-minute pre-work video, very important to watch before or at some time during the next 5 days. So if you haven't watched it yet, watch that first. There's a free Facebook group you can join. And also here's where you can download the workbook. So it will pop up another browser and you can download that workbook. And it may not be exactly what I'm going to teach in the next 5 days, but it's close enough because I made it last week. So things might change over the next 5 days, where you might say, might have some questions that we might have to veer to a different, topic or something like that. So this is a go with the flow type of thing. It's not just going to be, this is what I'm teaching you. That's it. This is, here we go. It's finally loaded. This is not the be all end all what I'm going to teach you. I do want feedback. I want questions. I want to see what you're most interested in, because this is really a training for you. I know how to build a website. I don't need this training. I'm teaching you. So I want to know how to serve you best. Okay. So download the workbook. And it's actually quite long, and it's brand new. It's nothing I just made this last week. So it's not something that I've given to anybody else. And I'll share a little bit more about it later, but it can really help you to follow along with our training as best that you can, you know? Okay. Anyways, back to it. So you got the workbook, okay? If you don't have it yet, at some point you want to download it. Yeah, in this workbook, there is like a huge list on website optimizing on the last 2 pages. So although I encourage you to not jump ahead, if you're like, I have a website, I've been through your course, Ashley, I've done all this stuff. What's next? I need more, need a little bit more. There's a whole checklist, a 2-page checklist of optimizing your website so you can check the boxes. So check that out if you're like, I just wanted a little bit more, you know? So we're not going to cover that yet until like day 5. But that is it. So let's get into website organization, where you get started. Website building can potentially be expensive and very time consuming if you don't know what you're doing. If you're thinking, I have to hire somebody, I need somebody who knows all the coding and all the behind the scenes, and someone gave me a reference for something that costs $5,000, and someone said they could do it, but it's going to cost me, $200-$300 for them to make updates every month. That's because you don't know the options. And it does not have to be expensive. I think this is a big thing keeping us from starting a website or building one, is we think it's going to cost so much. And if it's not going to cost a lot of money, it's going to cost a lot of time. And I kind of touch on that in the pre-work video, but I do want to just encourage you that you are showing up here right now. Even if you just get a little bit from this, understand that website building does not have to be complicated. SEO, website jargon, keywords, all that does not have to be scary. It can be inexpensive, efficient, and easy. And a lot has changed in the last 5 years where it's easier now than ever. So it can be easy, efficient with some guidance. And that's what I'm here for. And why am I doing this? Because I absolutely love sharing this information with people, because I know I can't teach all the yoga to the entire world. But I can reach the yoga teachers and people who serve people and change lives to make a ripple effect so that you can then teach more of the yoga, the life-changing benefits on the things that we all do. And we know that can change the world and make it more peaceful and better and brighter. And so if I can give you some of the knowledge that I have to help you, encourage you to move forward, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. If you already have a website, I would love to see you comment it in the comments, because I'd love to check it out. At one point, I might have to get permission, but I'd love to do some reviews of people's websites and give you the tips to move forward throughout this week. So that's just a thing I'm just adding in right now, is if you do already have a website and want it reviewed, or you just want to share it, type it in the comments and I'll check it out, because I do see all the comments even after this ends. Okay, so our 5 days together, the whole goal is to help you start or revamp, to build a simple, that's the key, and profitable personal website, even if you think you have nothing to sell. So one thing I really love sharing is you should and could have a website and make money from it, even if you think you have nothing to sell. You might, I thought that in the past. I don't have anything to sell. Why would I even have a website? Why should I even be online? I don't have a program yet. I don't have a course. I don't have classes. What's the point? Well, we'll get to that. Great. Anna Marie has a website in Kajabi. That's a great platform. Awesome. Yeah, made with Wix. Yeah, there's Angela has one with Offering Tree. Yeah, the platform, not a big deal. It is, but it's not. Pick something, go with it. The concepts I'm going to teach here don't have to do with a specific platform. But of course, I have some recommendations. All right, so even if you have nothing to sell yet, we're going to build a profitable website. But do you need a website? Do you need a website? That's okay. Do I really need one? Can I just have an Instagram? Can I just have a Facebook page? I think I've talked about this a few times, but social media ain't cutting it. It's not your foundation. You can also think of it in terms like, do you need a car? Do you actually need a car? You can walk 10 miles to work. Like, you can walk, you can just ride your bike, you can hitchhike, you can find a bus, maybe. You don't need a car. Well, some of us kind of do, but you don't need one. You can live life without it. And I'm not talking people who live in like super metropolitan cities who actually shouldn't have a car, but think about like maybe not normal, just people who live in like rural areas. yeah, you can get to where you want to go, but it's not efficient. It's not fast. And so, and it, what you need is something that gets you from point A to B, not something super fancy, but something that gets you there. And that's what your website does. It becomes your home base, your brochure, your yoga studio lobby where people ask questions and find out more about you. And it's easy to access because there's no gated entry. Nobody has to log in or have an account in order to see your website. So it's available to everybody. And that's one thing that's really important. All right. So I want to talk a little story first before we get into organization. I was talking to my mom. This is my mom. Isn't she cute? My mom's name is Rosie. She does hair. She's not a yoga teacher, but I want you to apply this story to yourself. You can apply it to you as a yoga teacher, wellness coach, whatever you do. Maybe you are also a hairstylist. I don't know. But I actually called her up yesterday because I created her website for her. It's a very simple website that has the basics on it and gets her so many clients every single week that she wouldn't otherwise have if she didn't have a website. But I knew the value of it. But I was asking her, as someone who's not super tech savvy and not someone who actually would know even where to start with a website, but she knew she needed one. And here's why. I asked her yesterday, I got on the phone, I said, Mom, I know I built your website for you, but I felt that you knew you needed one, but you didn't know how to do it. Tell me where that desire came from. Tell me why, when you were transitioning from employee of a salon to renting your own space at a salon, at someone else's salon, your own business, AKA, why you believed you needed a website. And her story was that she has the experience of working in a salon that had no system, had no website, no online system, no online booking. And it was so frustrating as an employee of the salon to be doing someone's hair for 15 minutes and having to stop 3 to 4 times to answer the landline phone to book and reschedule appointments. And she said it just got so frustrating where every single Monday, the employees would have to come in and check the voicemail on the landline, call people back, like write down the numbers, call people back to reschedule or to book their appointments. And one of the biggest things is that a lot of people missed their appointments because they never got reminded. Like, it's a lot of time to do that. Just think of like an hour reminder. There was no receptionist. So if someone had to sit there and call people to remind them manually, and in order to book somebody in, you had to look through all the paper. And she said it just got so frustrating as an employee that she knew that she had to have some kind of system, like a website that could do a lot of this for her. And she trusted me with the building out of that. And I did it. And it's awesome. And it really, really helps her. So as she was transitioning from employee of a business who had no online systems, she decided to create her own. And it wasn't hard. So she now runs her business as a solo hairstylist. She rents a space 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 3 days a week at someone else's salon. She has her own little station and she books appointments on her own. And she tells people to go to her website to book. On her voicemail, it says, "Thanks for calling Hair by Rosie. If you're looking to book an appointment, go to my website and book there. It's really easy. If you have another question, leave me a voicemail," that kind of thing. So now she has a system that just works for her. So she doesn't have to be just muddled with all of the admin work. And I think as anyone with a service-based business, you don't want to just constantly be in your email and answering phone calls. And that's for yoga teachers too. Like a lot of us don't want to be manually emailing back and forth or telling people to send us a PayPal link, but then send the receipt. It's a lot, especially as you start to grow. If you want to scale, if you want to get any bigger, you need some kind of foundation. So there we go. Yeah, that's my mom. She is very young. She had me at a very young age. And she's just so wonderful. She's in Minnesota, small town Minnesota. You can check out her website, hairbyrosie.com. It's cute. So it's got the simple basics on there, and it's what I'm going to teach you also in the next 5 days, having that simple foundation. Okay. So in the next 5 days, we're going to do these 5 things. There's going to be some bonuses and extras in there, but here are the 5 days. Today, we're getting organized. We're going to organize our digital workspace. Then tomorrow we'll talk about gathering our core content, the foundational stuff. Then we actually talk about building out or sketching out the web page, your home page at least, sketching out a home page or a landing page. What does that mean? What does that look like? We'll talk about email list building. I know some people are like, that's going to be the best. Like, I get it. I have a whole course on email list building. And then we talk a little bit on search engine optimizing, which is not as scary as it seems. I'll make it very simple for you. And also the next steps. So that's our 5 days. I'm so glad you guys are here too. So let's get organized. Day 1. Today we have 4 steps, or 4 homework assignments actually. Number 1 is to get inspired. Number 2 is to separate your business from your personal. You can't muddle them together. We'll talk about why. Number 3 is figure out an organization system for your files. And I'll give you a great recommendation. We'll walk through that. And then I want to help you and just introduce you to efficient brainstorming, efficient brainstorming and copywriting. And so we'll get there. That's going to kind of lead us into tomorrow. Okay, so that's today. And my urge to you is to resist the urge to jump ahead, because you might be like, I'm just ready to build right now. Like, give me the website, tell me how much things cost. I'll go with the cheapest option. Like, I saw a question, how much does this cost? How much does this platform cost? Please hold off, hold off right now. And it might, the cheapest option isn't always the best. I just have to remind you of that too. And so if you're looking and price comparing, let's actually do a little bit of research, but not yet. What I want us to do first is figure out what we actually need on our website. And that's our organization and core content, is to figure out what you need, so then you can make the best decision on which platform might be best. So we're going to gather all that up first, because the platform we'll think about later, but because you're going to need to build out and write out a lot of your core content, gather images, and organize yourself, no matter what website hosting software that you choose. No matter what you're building it on, you still have to do this foundation work. And a lot of us jump ahead into, well, I'm going to start with Squarespace. I'm going to start with WordPress, but you don't have the content yet. So you get confused where you're like, well, if I build on WordPress, then what? Like, there's a blank, there's a wall there. Like, if you don't have my content, what am I going to put on it? Do I need these functions and features? I don't know. So we're going to take a step back and really just start with like the very basics. And even if you already have a website, I encourage you to do this anyway, because it's what I start with in any of my online courses, is get organized. As someone who has a hard time being focused, I'm very distractible. That's why I use these slides, because I get distracted. I will jump around. Getting organized and focused has been one of the hardest things for me, but one of the most beneficial. So let's get organized. So let's first then, after you understand that, resist the urge to jump ahead, we're going to understand what a website is too. So yes, we'll get organized in a moment. I'll give you those key tips. But we're going to understand what a website does, or how it functions, what it means, just to take away some of the confusion. So on my slides, you see this like jargon: domain name, hosting, web software. Some of you probably know what some of this is. I've attended a few conferences and a few online trainings where the marketing experts will say things that just go right over your head. And I want to try to take it back a notch. So if you are someone who's like, I don't understand what you just said, tell me again, please let me know that, because I love repeating myself. And in different ways. I teach this to my yoga teachers too in training, where I say a person new to yoga is probably not going to understand, or may not understand, the first cue that you give them, because they might not understand the anatomy of their body. So you might have to say something in another way so they understand it. I mean, saying something like reach your arm to the sky is kind of understandable, but someone may not have heard it, or it didn't click. So you have to say, take your hand and reach towards the ceiling, saying it in a different way. And this is an exercise I give to all my yoga trainees when I used to do 200-hour trainings, is to rewrite your cues in at least 3 to 5 different ways. So I like to say things in different ways too. So if there's something that doesn't connect, just please let me know. And so I compare it to a website. Let's go back to websites now. It's kind of like a house, and you see this image of a house. And I actually I wrote those in there. I thought it was kind of cute. Okay, so website, let's start with the hosting. Website hosting is like the land that you purchase or the land that your website is on, the land that your house is on. The hosting is like just a space. It's a plot of empty space where your stuff is going to go eventually. You can buy hosting without having a website. Great. I don't know why you would. I would wait until you actually have a website. But your domain name is something you can't purchase right away. It's your address. It's the thing that you type in. Mine is ashesyoga.com. A domain name, a lot of times, is something that you would reserve early on, especially if you have one that you know you want and you don't want it taken. So you could actually buy that early on from any domain name service or even from a hosting site. But a domain name is something you can purchase early on, or you can wait until you start your website, which right now we're not going to go into buying domain names right now. I would say wait. It's probably not going to change in the next couple of days what's available to you. So your domain name is your address. It's not an actual website. It's just the address that it's located at. And then we get into the web software, which is like the foundation of your house. Like it's actually like the bones of the house and the studs and the beams and all of that. So it's just like the bare bones, the house foundation. It's the software, the structure of it. So it's what it's being built on. So that's the foundation. WordPress is a software. Wix is a software and a hosting site. So is Squarespace. WordPress is not a hosting site. So sometimes there's all-in-ones that do all of this. And then sometimes there are like, you have to piece it together. And so it's kind of up to you the way that you want to do it. And then if you think about like the decorations inside, the customizations, that's like a theme or templates or the interior design. It's like your colors and the splashes and things. And then you fully customize it with your own pictures and your images, and then you're really just decorating. Right? Okay. So there are a few components of a website that I just want you to understand. I had a question come in the other day that was like asked if anybody hosts their site on WordPress. And I can see the confusion, but WordPress is not a host. It is a web software. So you can't host maybe it's just like, it's semantics, it's words, but it's still good to understand what those words mean. So I'll show you a couple examples right now, just my sites. I have 2 websites, okay? 2 websites. Number one, this is my main website. It is ashesyoga.com. It is hosted by DreamHost. The domain name was purchased by also DreamHost, my host site. The web software is WordPress. And the theme that I have is called Divi from Elegant Themes that helps me to plug and play and just do the design work on it. So there are 3 pieces to this website, 3 different softwares, 3 different businesses that helped me create this website that I had to piece together. And then there's something like my other website, which is an Offering Tree website. It is hosted by Offering Tree. The web software is Offering Tree. The domain name is Offering Tree. What was the other thing? The theme, the design, it's all Offering Tree. So it's an all-in-one. And that's also similar with Wix and Squarespace. Those are more all-in-ones as well. You do pay a little bit more to have something that's an all-in-one. But if you're thinking of trying to go less expensive, costly with money, because you're like, I'm just piece things together like you did with your WordPress site, it's going to take you a lot more time. It's going to cost you in time versus dollars. So that's why I said don't necessarily look at the price monetarily, but you also want to look at the time that it's going to take you to figure all this out. Offering Tree is so simple. WordPress, not so much. So unless you're like really into techie stuff and development things, I might encourage you more to go with like the all-in-one. But that's understanding websites. So I don't want anyone to hugely jump ahead, but I am affiliated with Offering Tree, and it's not going to be the main thing that I'm pushing. I'm not saying you have to use it, but if you're like, Ashley, just tell me what to do, I want to start right now, then I do have a link, offeringtree.com/ashes, for a discount for getting started with Offering Tree. But you can keep that in the back of your mind. It's not something where I'm like, do that now. Just keep it in the back of your mind. Like, okay, you recommended that, but I'm going to go check out my other options. And if you are someone who's like, I know I'm going to work with you, then there you have it. So a lot of things I do teach on this a lot, but we're going to leave it at that. Just plant that seed, but let's move on. So step 1, first homework. Wait, do we have any questions? Other questions here? Okay, we're good so far. First homework is to look at other people's websites to be inspired. And I think a lot of people in my course even will skip this step because they don't know where to find other people's websites. They don't know where to look. And it's not just looking at amazing websites, but looking at people like you and me, regular people who have built a website for their own small business. Not that, like, you could go and look at studio websites. You can go look at big business websites. You can go and look at like those huge ones. But I think it's still really beneficial to look at the people who are doing it themselves, like you might want to do. And so I do have, let's move that, add that. So I just did this morning. I think I added it to the email. I added it somewhere. On my blog, I just added this link. You'll get this link in the replay too. ashesyoga.offeringtree.com/blog. I added a blog post with real yoga teacher websites for inspiration and ideas. And one of the things I want you to do today or in the next couple of days is to take a look. I have like over 50. And a lot of these are people I've worked with, but again, they're not like perfect websites. If you click on one, I'm just going to click on Fern's website. Hey, Fern, are you here? You can see her website. So you can look through and look at what she does. And it's just Fern. It's not a huge studio or anything. It's one person. She's actually a member inside of my membership and in my courses. And she's got a membership online. She's working on her classes, her packages and gift cards. She's got her homepage with a schedule on it. Awesome. You can also go and look at somebody else. I've separated them from Offering Tree to not Offering Tree. You can look at Charlotte's website. And she has a website too. And so it's just her, again, her business. And so you can page through a lot of them. So if you want to go ahead and do that, I would recommend checking out this blog post with a bunch of people that I've worked with, and they're usually just like solo yoga teachers. And then my mom, who's a hairstylist. Solo yoga teachers, Qigong teachers, face yoga. We've got a lot of different yogas on here. And some of them, like I said, separated from Offering Tree into not Offering Tree. But go ahead and check them out. Like, go and look at some other people's websites, because that's going to give you, it's going to do a couple things for you. It's going to do a couple things. It's going to give you inspiration. And it's also going to tell you what you don't like. So you might go through them and be like, oh, that looks a little cluttered, or, ooh, I don't think I would do that. But it gives you that, like, I think I might want that or not that, or I don't really like the blocky look. So I think I want to add more organic shapes to it. So it's going to, and maybe it's colors, maybe it's inspiration. You're creating like a vision board for your website, whatever it is. So go and look at other people's and get inspired by them, and also uninspired too. And I don't want to say any of them are bad. I don't think any of them are at all. I just think there are preferences to you and your audience that you don't know until you look at other people's or other options. And if you don't even know, if you don't have a concept of what a website could be, it's really hard to move in that direction. So number one, look at other people's websites. Okay. See what you like about them. See what you maybe don't like about them. And that's going to be homework 1 for today. Okay. I might even ask you, what was your favorite one? It's at Ashes here. I'll post it here. ashesyoga.offeringtree.com/blog. I'll just put it in the comments there. My blog is not public on my website unless you go to the direct link. I don't have it as a menu option. So it's there, and then you can just click on the blog post itself. I'm going to share it in the replay. I'll share it in a few different places too after this, because I just put it together today. So I did it this morning. I figured you need that. I thought it was a good idea to have. Step 1. Cool. What are we doing here? Oh, now let's finally talk about getting organized. We're halfway through this, and let's actually talk about getting organized. So I've hopefully inspired you and told you some stories and all that. Now let's do the work of getting digitally organized. Day 1, digital organization. So imagine opening a yoga studio. your yoga studio. But instead of a clean, welcoming space like we know and love, you just throw all your mats and blocks and props into a big, messy pile in the middle of the floor. That's what some of our digital workspaces are like. So this is a fun, fancy generated AI image. And the first one I actually generated, I got to show you this. It's so bad. It's so awful. Some of us are like this huge pile of like just stuff everywhere. We don't even know what to do, disorganization. And yet you want to teach yoga there? Like, no. Like, you want to create a website, you want to teach yoga with a mess? You want to create a website when your whole space is a mess? I don't think so. Let's get organized a little bit. Okay, organization. Before you think about building, we need to lay a strong foundation, just like you do in any relationship. You want a strong foundation so it doesn't quickly crash and burn. So separate your personal from business, organize your content, and set up systems that make everything clear. Let's make everything easier, clear, simple. Okay. So the homework number 2, or step number 2, it's same, right? Is to separate your business and personal. Does anyone not have a separation? Or how should I ask this? Has anyone not done this yet? Separated your personal from your business. And you might be like, well, I don't have a business. I just teach yoga. Okay, let's mindset shift. You have a business because you want to make money. That's a business. But that is not you. That is not your identity. That is not you as a person. That's not your personality, although sometimes it is. Your business is over here. We need to take it from in us to over here and draw a line, separate, right? Separate ourselves from the business. What that also does is gives you a little emotional detachment. If things go wrong, you don't take things personally. You can respond in a more clear way without it being so personal. So take your business out of yourself and put it over here. What does that look like? Separating personal and business. The first thing you should do. The first thing, the first thing, we'll get there. But I have another analogy. I like little analogies and metaphors, like stepping onto your yoga mat, but you've also put your grocery bags, your laundry, and all the other random paperwork on it. When we teach yoga, we usually tell people to take their personal problems, set them aside for now, right? Or you take your worries and your woes and separate them from the practice. Don't bring your grocery list with you. And that's what a lot of people of us are doing when we try to run a yoga business with, through our personal accounts and through our personal profiles, is you're taking your grocery list to your yoga class with you. Stop it. So we're not trying to do that. Yeah, it is. It's hard not to take it personally, but the more and more we create that division, that separation, that line, the easier it's going to be. So just like your yoga mat gives you that dedicated practice space, your business also needs its own yoga mat, its own space. That means separate email, organized files, clear financial systems, and to step into business mode without the distraction of all the personal stuff. So the first thing, this is where I was like, the first thing is to create a new email address for your business. Do you have an email address dedicated only for yoga? Anyone? Or for your business? You can be Qigong, Pilates, yoga. And usually it has the word yoga in it, right? Or it has the word that you're doing. Mine is ashesyoga@gmail.com. I actually resisted this for so long, and I thought, I'll just use my personal email, not a big deal. And it got so messy. My email got so cluttered, and I didn't know which was what, because I was shopping and doing Amazon stuff and buying things, and it would go to my personal email, and then I'd get requests and things for business, and it just got so confusing. So creating a new email address, and a lot of you already have one, which is awesome and great. But hopefully your separate email, also your business email, isn't also your personal email. So just because you can say, Ashley Hagen's business email, you're not giving that to your cousin who's asking you to come to a party. You're not giving your yoga business email to your mom to help her with a recipe. Amy has a question of any recommendations for an email that's not Gmail. Why? Why would you not use Gmail? I am curious though, because Gmail is a recommendation, and I highly would recommend Gmail to start with, okay? To start with. And that's Here's the thing about emails. We'll talk about this in email list building on day 4, but start with a Gmail. It is free. And the reason we want to start with a Gmail for now, like you'll get another email address later. You'll get a professional one later. I do recommend a professional, like at yourwebsite.com. I have Ashley at ashesyoga.com. But guess what? It forwards to my Gmail. Makes things so easy. So you can get a professional email address through a hosting site. I wouldn't start there though, because if you're thinking of like step 36 when we're on step 1. So if you don't have just a Gmail, like eventually you can set Gmail aside and use your professional one only, but to start with, we're going to use Gmail. If you don't have any separation whatsoever, it's a starting point. So yes, there are Gmail, you can schedule out emails. A lot of people are using Google for things, and it just keeps things simple. So all right. Okay. So if you again, let's create a new, if you feel like you're cluttered in your inbox, or if you feel like your current email is like, it's just too much, I'd say start with a new one. It's not hard. It's not hard. I did this for my mom. I know she has an email address with her name at gmail.com, but I didn't want to use her personal email. Instead, when I was creating her website, I went with Hair by Rosie, which was her email, her domain name, except that wasn't available. So I just did hairbyRosieJohnson@gmail.com. And that's her email address. And that way it's connected to anyone who's just emailing her for appointments. It's connected to her website, but it's not a personal email that she's getting a lot of clutter into. You want to keep it efficient and clear. So creating a new email address, I feel like I could like dive in and go at length on this. Yeah, Jay said he started using Kit. I use Kit as well. And you had to start a professional email. Yes, that is one thing when it comes to email list building. If you are using a email software, we'll talk on Thursday about that. You will have to set up, it's like a new thing, but you will have to set up a professional email address. And you can do that. You can do that without having a website. Okay, without building your website yet. So you can actually do that. I can answer those questions and help you through that process. But a lot of us, again, are not quite there yet. Still having a Gmail, you can set up your professional email and still have it go into your Gmail account, which is what I do. And I think it's a great system to have. I actually have multiple professional emails. I've got support@ashesyoga.com, members at ashesyoga.com, info at, like you can create a ton at yourwebsite.com, and they all just go into my Gmail to keep it into one place. I think that's simple. But the reason we're using Gmail, there's a recommendation, Gmail. The reason we're doing that, because I want to talk to you about Google Drive for organization. So that's step 3. So even if you're not using your Gmail or your Google account as your primary email address, that's okay. Although as we're getting started, even if it's not your primary email address, I still want you to have a Google account so that you can use Google Drive. And this is what I teach in all of the courses, all of my courses that I have, my Creating an Online Yoga course, email list building, YouTube for yoga teachers, wellness website in a week. All of it starts with, hey everyone, I'm going to teach you about Google Drive for organization. Otherwise, it's going to be a mess. So that's what I'm teaching you here. If your Gmail storage is full, great question, Tatiana. Number 1, you could buy more. I think it's like $2 or $2 for a month for like 20 million times more size, or you could delete stuff. So what I recommend with Google Drive is not to save your videos in it. If you're using the free Google Drive and it's limited to the size, delete the videos and the big files inside of it. So get rid of those, put them on an external hard drive. I do not save videos onto Google Drive because it takes up a lot of space. So any videos or any large pictures and images, remove them, because what we're primarily using it for is documents, spreadsheets, things that are really small in file size for organization. Now, as far as photos and images, as we get going and talk about images for your website, those are going to be optimized images, meaning they're smaller. And eventually in time, if they are larger files, you can offload them and take them out of your Google Drive so you can clear up some space. So I save my videos onto an external hard drive. That's what I do. If you want to save them in a cloud, you would have to pay for more space for sure. So you could pay for more Google Drive space. You could pay for like Dropbox or iCloud or something if you wanted to save them in the cloud. The only reason I would ever put a video in Google Drive is if I were sending it to someone to download, and then I would remove it. So I typically don't save things that are huge files to Google Drive. But what is Google Drive? I know some of you are like, you're talking over my head. Okay, let's talk about it. So this is like your prop shelf. I don't know why my punctuation isn't here anymore, but it's okay. It's like your prop shelf. It's like you think of all your props that are on the floor. You're going to neatly organize them and put them on the shelf. And you know how blankets have to be folded a specific way? Well, that's what Google Drive can help you with too. So it helps you to easily store and access and make things available and make it pretty too. Instead of scrambling to find your bio or your class descriptions or waivers like buried in your files somewhere in your computer. It creates like everything in one designated place, and it makes it super searchable. So there's a couple benefits. It saves your work automatically. I know there are a lot of you out there who either in college or high school or even in everyday life has worked on like some kind of email or something, and then your computer crashes and it didn't save, or you worked on a paper that you've been working on for hours and you forgot to hit the save button and then it just disappeared because you hit the back button. Oh my gosh. I've done that so many times. But I love Google Drive because if you create things inside of it, it saves automatically. Like you don't have to worry about hitting save every 10 minutes, every time you write a new sentence. So it saves automatically. That's a huge benefit. It stores everything in one place. I mean, that's a benefit. It keeps things accessible anywhere. So you can also get the apps on your phone where you can also edit and adjust and open things from your phone or your computer or your iPad or whatever space you want. So anywhere in the world too. So you're not stuck to like a hard drive or on your computer. It can be any computer. And it also helps you to separate your business from personal, step aside, and then allows for really easy sharing of documents and photos and images without having to email the files. I don't know about you, but as you grow, as I've grown, and I didn't have this problem in the past, but I hope you have this problem too. My email is so cluttered. And if someone sends me something, like I had somebody, dang it. I had my boyfriend sent me something to print because I have a printer and he does not. So he goes, can you print this for me? And usually he'll text it. But I remembered he sent me something to print. And I go, where did you send that? I can't find the text. And he goes, I emailed it to you. And he emailed it to me in my business email account. And I'm like, I lost it. I couldn't find it. So I had to dig in there and find it. But my email goes so fast. So if someone's sending attachments or I'm trying to send attachments and go back and forth just through email, it's so much easier just to do that through Google Drive. Like then it's there, then it can be sent. Anyway, I don't know why that story about printing a recipe, it was a recipe he wanted me to print. But when your email moves really fast, it's hard to keep track of all of that. Yeah, you could get an assistant. Yeah, you could manage organization. I know I need to do that. But Google Drive organizes things better for me. So I have all that information and I'm not just saving, waivers and documents in my email somewhere that could get lost. Okay. So when I say easy sharing, what I mean is you can share your documents with people so they can not just view it, but also edit if you wanted to. If you were collaborating on something, you could have a shared document that you work at the same time, which is so cool. And the design program canva.com, you can also do that, which is neat as well. So Canva is similar, but that's all for graphics and design. I would say Google Drive is more for like Word documents. Like it's Microsoft Word, but it's not Word. It's called Google Docs. Spreadsheets, which used to be like Excel sheets, but it's called spreadsheets. Forms where people fill out surveys. So you could do a lot of different things. So it allows for you to share with people easily. So here's your, the 3-step homework today is to go to Google Drive and create a folder. And I'll do this together with you. I'm going to show you this so you're not like, what? So create a folder for your yoga business and then create some subfolders. And I'm going to do that right now just to show you. So if you're watching the replay or afterwards, you can definitely do that. So drive.google.com. Once you are logged in, drive.google.com will bring you to this place that's probably empty if you don't have a lot on there, or you might have a ton on there. What I've done in the past, oh, this is my wrong one. Let's go back to this one. What I've done in the past, because I had a lot of stuff, instead of just deleting it, I create a folder that says random stuff, and I just drag all the random stuff in there that I don't need. So if you have one already and you're like, it's so disorganized, create a folder that's just random stuff or old stuff or to look through later, okay? And then create a folder. You hit the new button, new folder, and just say like yoga business, or whatever your business is. It can be your business name, and it will pop up and it's your yoga business folder. Inside there, what did we have here? Website content, branding, and you can name these whatever you want, client documents, and admin. Okay, so in that, let's go back. So I'm going to just create some new folders, and this is going to be website content and admin, like waivers and things. And we're going to say, what was the other one? Branding, or maybe you want it just images. I'm going to say branding. Branding is good because it's like colors, fonts, images, and client documents. And you might not have client documents. Maybe in here you create a folder that's like, let's say retreats. Like you want just a folder that has all of your retreat information or specific class information. You have a workshop or a course. Like if you're ever creating a course, you can call it like ABC course content. So, or membership content, right? And you can easily delete or rename hitting these little 3 button icons there. So I don't want to like get too much into the screen share stuff, because I know once we're on screen share, people are like, over my head. So the main thing is to create one folder for your yoga business and then some subfolders, because this is going to help us as we move forward tomorrow when we write our bio or our about page, or you start to write your homepage content, your class descriptions. All that's going to go in here. So in our website content, you might create more subfolders saying like, maybe it's not folders. Maybe it could be homepage, about page. You could do folders, how you want to organize it, up to you. Just make sure you have it. But beyond the folders, you can start to create your Google documents. So if can I zoom in here? When you hit new, you have a few different types of files you can start to create. And documents and sheets and forms are the 3 main that I use. You might create slides in Google. It's fine if you do. I usually don't, but Google Docs and Sheets. So that's like a Word document or an Excel document. And then a form is like a survey to gather information. So I do a lot of those. You can start to create just the Google document and just say, this is going to be my yoga teacher bio. Got it. And then that's it. And then exit out of it. And then it saves in there, right? I'm going to create my about page. Create, oops, that was a folder. Let's create a document. And this one's going to be like about me section, right? And as soon as you title it, you can just delete it. So eventually you're going to fill these in. But for now, it's just there. So the main thing I want to share is creating a space for organization. Yeah, and Chris says she saves in her brand hub in Canva in a project file. Yeah, that's really awesome too. Canva, I think in Canva and Google Drive do connect together. Do you create your newsletter using Google Drive? I should. So what I often do, so that's a great question. So like in yoga business, you might also create a folder called emails or newsletters. And in my emails one, I would have a Google document and I would say, this is monthly newsletters. I'm going to call it monthly newsletters, right? That's the title of it. And what's really cool is they now have this thing. Ooh, can I zoom in here? No, I can't. On the left side, there's different document tabs. So you can create different tabs for like January, February, March, April. So if you wanted to create, this is going to be January. This one's going to be February. So you can keep it all in your monthly newsletters document. Now I'm getting kind of too intense here, but I would recommend writing emails in Google Drive first because it automatically saves And you don't create the whole email there. Like you don't add the images and all the things. It's the content that you're writing, because it's happened so many times where you write your content in your email system or wherever, and then it disappears. If you write directly in it, you forget to save, whatever it is. I would definitely write any emails, any content, have it in Google Drive first, and then copy and paste it over. It's going to save you so much frustration. I promise. So do I create my newsletter in Google Drive? No, but I should. And I recommend that you do. But also I don't share it right from Google Drive. Again, I will copy and paste it and put it into my email system and send it that way. So I don't write newsletters from Gmail. That's actually a thing you should not do. You don't do any marketing from Gmail or from any kind of free email software. You have to use a email management software for that. So we'll talk about that on Thursday, again, with email list building. But for writing things, definitely write them in Google Drive. So that's that. So that's our homework, for today, or actually most of it. And I have one more thing to give to you. Not overwhelmed too. We're okay here. We're good. Everything's good. Oh yeah. Amy in Counter Yoga says yearly Google Drive is like $20. Yeah, I think I'm paying like $1 a month or two to go from like 15 gigabytes to like 100. So it really multiplied it. Okay, so we have a little bit more, and I'll recap the homework from day one. I want to just give you like one thing to do, but I just think this is kind of, it's organization. There's kind of one thing to do, but sometimes we have to take a step back. So next up, oh my goodness, my favorite. So getting organized, this is more of a lead in for tomorrow, for our core content that we're going to create. This isn't really about getting organized. This is more like, hey, I know you either love using ChatGPT, you either don't want anything to do with it because you think it's crazy and different, or you're like, I'm interested, but I don't know how. ChatGPT is going to help you with efficiency and brainstorming, and that is it. So I don't want you to overthink this. I'm going to introduce this to you and give you one more tiny homework assignment for today before we move on tomorrow, because this is all going to set up our foundation. Okay. Intro to ChatGPT, AKA my best friend. Okay, not really. I have other friends. But anyway, ChatGPT is artificial intelligence. It's AI. It's a robot. It can be a great starting point to help you, but your personal touch is what makes your website and your content unique. So I do want that disclaimer that you are not copying and pasting. You are not just having a robot build a website for you. You're going to use it as a tool that helps you to streamline this process so you don't get stuck in a place where you're like sitting in front of a blank screen, like, I don't know what to do. So ChatGPT, what can it do? I'm going to give you a demo of it too, and in a moment. It can help you brainstorm ideas for the content on your web pages. It can suggest class descriptions. It can help you write unique class names. So you're not starting from scratch. So you're not like, I have no idea what to call this thing, or I have this course I'm doing, I don't know how to structure it. It can bridge the gap between you being like, I don't know what to do, to, okay, I see there's a plan here. I could work with that. Okay. It can help you generate blog post ideas and also write blog posts, but hopefully in your own, like, you got to tweak it to attract new students. It can help with your email list sign up copy, your opt-in stuff. It can help with a lot of things. A lot of times it's helping with copywriting primarily. It can outline courses and workshops for you and help you get that starting point. So there's a lot of things it can do. I use it more as a brainstorming and a focus tool. Okay. So then last homework is to get comfortable or introduced to ChatGPT. If you go to chat.openai.com, don't worry, you create an account. Don't give it any personal information. So just as a heads up, don't give it personal information. Don't give it addresses and names. And like, you don't need to. What you're going to do is try a few simple prompts. I'm going to show you on the next slide. Okay. A few simple prompts, and then try to personalize those responses. It's not Google search. It's not going to give you facts. You do have to fact check. So it's not something you ask like, who is the CEO of such and such business? Like, it might give that to you, but really it's for brainstorming and content. And then step 4 of this process is to save your work, usually in like a Google document. So, because it can get lost in ChatGPT. It's a mess over there. So let's try this. So here are the prompts, but I'm going to go into my ChatGPT and show you about this. So if you want to do this at the same time, hit pause if you're in the recording. Awesome. The prompts are things like, can you help me write a short bio? Can you give me ways to describe my yoga classes? What are some commonly asked questions or concerns that students might have before they visit a website? How can I make my website more welcoming? So it will give you those ideas, questions for contemplation. Okay. So we're going to do that here in ChatGPT. So this is what it looks like typically. I'm in the paid version. You do not have to pay for it. It's free. I have the paid version for other reasons. Tomorrow, this is going to help, especially as we get to developing our core content. I will tell you, when I launched my website course a couple years back and we were going through it, we spent an entire week writing 1-paragraph bios. An entire week. And it was a lot of back and forth. And it would be nice to have, a ChatGPT could review some things or give you a couple different rewrites rather than looking to me or someone else to give you that feedback. You can use it as your assistant. It's an assistant only. It's not going to replace you. It's just an assistant to give you more ideas and questions for contemplation. So here in this one, I have written, help me write a short, friendly bio for my yoga website. I specialize in, and you can write whatever you want, quick, actionable online yoga videos. And I love helping new moms feel relaxed and at ease. So who do you love helping? While also managing parenting, young kids, and managing a household. So I'm going to give it this one prompt and see what it does. And of course, you can say please and thank you, but it'll just, it'll spit something back. And what's cool about it is when it gives you a bio, right here, here's our bio. It asks you if you want any tweaks. So, okay, hi, I'm Ashley. I specialize in actionable online yoga videos. That's awesome. But I want to actually in third person. Can you can ask it to rewrite in third person. And it will. Or can you write it? You can ask it, you're going to give it like feedback, right? Now it's writing it in third person. Because I always have a bio. You have your about section, which is like, hey, it's about me. I'm going to talk about me. And then a third person bio is as if somebody is introducing you. So here is a quick little bio. Now, I think this might be a little long. Maybe it's not, but I'd read through it and see, does this sound like me? And I can also take things out. I can change it up if I want. So don't just copy and paste. Don't just be like, oh, here's my bio. We're going to copy paste and call it good. Look through it. Make sure it actually reads well, like say it out loud. And then you can give it feedback. You can even say, make it sound like a cool best friend wrote it, or like hype me up a little bit more. And it will continue to, track off the last one, knowing the memory here that it had from these two. And then whatever you give it back, like, okay, I have a little more information. I actually teach this and I really want to focus. Like I can say, I really want you to highlight the fact that I do 10 to 15 minute videos only. I never do longer than that. And it will rewrite it for you. So this is something that's been very, very helpful in a lot of different ways. Yeah, and it can kind of freak you out, but use it in a very simple way. Julie says that ChatGPT definitely freaks me out. Yeah, it takes everything from the internet, pulls as much information and data as it can, and will give you what you're asking for. And it may be in different kinds of ways too, just based on what it knows. So what this is doing is, because you asked for a yoga bio, it's going to the internet, the interwebs, and looking at other yoga teacher bios and getting examples of those, and then giving you back something that's similar to what it found on the web. Okay. So another prompt. So this, you could continue in this thread as you continue with your bio. You can also say, here's a little more information, and write more and say, can you now write my about me section? I've done that as well, but you want to tweak it. Okay. So that's how we would do like a bio if you're like, I don't even know what to do. So that's one way. There's other things you can do too. Like, give me 3 ways to describe my yoga classes. use them on my website. I like this third one. What are some common FAQs that students might have? So one thing I've done is like, what are some common challenges that yoga teachers have when building a website? And it will give me that list. So then I know how to market to you. Like that's, and I do that. To be honest, a lot of this training was built by going back and forth to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT wrote these prompts. He said, "Can you give me some simple ChatGPT prompts for new yoga teachers wanting to build a website?" And gave me these 4, and I copied and pasted them. So it's not writing my entire presentation. It's definitely not going to replace me. Like you're not going to get my personality and everything. Yeah, I got some prompts from it. It made me more efficient. It made me create this 50 slide deck within a couple hours, but it didn't replace me. It just made my brainstorming and focus more efficient. So that's what it can do for you, and that's how it can help you build your website. It's not going to build your website for you. It's going to give you some tools for brainstorming. Yeah, it's totally cool. And it's like back in the day when cars were first created, right? Like Ford created a car. There were tons of people who were like, why would I need one of those? My horse and buggy do just fine. There's going to be doubters. They're going to be like, that could never replace walking or whatever. Like I ride my bike. I don't need a car, but then, it's really revolutionized how we live now, where cars are so common. And that's kind of the thing that what like AI and ChatGPT are going to be like. Yes, it's scary right now. It's a little kind of freaky, but when you understand like that you can use it in a simple and very helpful way for you, it's going to really help you to just be a lot more efficient. So you can go do the thing you like doing, which is teaching yoga, going to more classes, not having to be that admin support constantly. And it also helps with, today I had it write a couple email responses for me as well. So people will email me and go, how do I respond to this in a professional and nice way? And it will help me. And it just gives me like a baseline. It's like, okay, or you can ask it to translate things. Like, can you translate this into a different language? Or can you make this sound more professional? And we'll rewrite things for you. So lots of ways that you can use it, but we're going to use it to help us just get out of the block of like, what do I even write on my About Me page? Or what should I have for, my bio? Or like, how can I explain my class? How can I describe this class that I do? Like you share what you can, but then how can it be written or explained in a way that the normal person would understand? And it can help you do things like that. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. I just want you to explore and be open to that, open to it. So that it's not as scary when we get to it tomorrow. Okay. But yeah, do not copy and paste ChatGPT's. You want to edit it so it sounds like you. So if you don't like what it gives you, ask it to rewrite it. You can say, sound it more casual. Someone yesterday in, I think, a comment somewhere talking about using ChatGPT, and they said they asked it to sound more like their drunk best friend. Like, can you write this response as my drunk best friend? Or you can write it as my teenage daughter who's 16 or 15 in high school. Or can you write this as my 65-year-old dad who's constantly worried that I'm going to get in trouble? And it will like write it in a tone or in a voice of a character, which is kind of fun. Not that you need to do that, but like it's available to you. So it's kind of neat. Play with it. Okay, so here's your homework. This is day 1. Go ahead and look through people's websites. That shouldn't take too long unless you go down the rabbit hole and really go in depth. Analyze and go through other people's websites. I posted that on my blog so you can see the list of other people's. Create a new Gmail account or an email. I would say Gmail. For now, you can create a professional one later, but right now Gmail is great. So you have a Google Drive. If you already have one separated, awesome. Let's get it organized a little bit. And then the last thing is to create folders for organization in Google Drive. And if you have questions, let me know. Of course, get familiar with ChatGPT is kind of a bonus because that's what leading into tomorrow. We're at about an hour now of training, and I want to keep these to an hour or less. Tomorrow maybe will be a little shorter because I'm going to give you the prompts and the guidance. We'll see. I don't know. Haven't come up with it yet. So getting familiar with ChatGPT to lead us into tomorrow. And that's day 1. that is day one. If you, what's your biggest takeaway? That's my question. If you watched all the way to now, there are still a bunch of you on this. What's been your biggest takeaway today so you can help us move forward? I would love to hear it. Biggest takeaway. And if you're watching the replay, just comment in the, this is a YouTube live, so I'm seeing the live comments. If you're watching the replay, you won't see the live comments, but you can comment in the comment section. Organization is key. Yeah. No one ever talks about, organization. They're just like, let's get started on your website. You need a homepage, you need a banner, you need a picture. Yeah, but let's like take a step back, because I know that in my yoga business Facebook group, which maybe you're in that right now, the majority of people say, I don't know where to start. And so if me saying you've got to, create a bio and a headshot and all that, if that isn't starting enough, let's take a step back farther. How far can we go to take a step back? And the organization and separating can be really key, and not something that everyone talks about. Because I think a lot of people assume you've already done that. Like, oh, you already have you're already organized, or you've probably already separated and have a different email address, or it's assumed that you've done it. But I'm not going to assume. Yeah. Jay needs to move forward. You've been stuck on picking a web host for months. Well, let's get your content and then pick web host. I have 2 websites. That's not a recommendation. I just do, and it works. It's fine. They're kind of commingled, and it's fine. Lots of Google Drive folders, good insights. Google Drive, such a good idea. Yes, ADD here. I have ADHD tendencies. I don't think I'm purely ADHD, but I definitely have tendencies towards distraction, and it's really hard for me to focus. And I'm not going to show you my desktop on my computer because do as I say, not as I do. Sometimes, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I don't have the best organization, but I'm working every day to be a little more organized. Yeah. Yes, must get organized. Finish one thing before starting another. It's another thing I like to do too, is you start a project and you don't follow through with it because you get shiny object syndrome. You're like, hey, there's another cool thing happening. Let's do that instead. One thing that's really helped me, like this, I'm going to be honest here. This training, I have done so much prep work for it that yesterday I was like, I don't even want to do it. I was like, I don't want to do it. It's too much. I'm hitting the point where I don't want to. No, I'm excited for it, sure, but it's like nerve-wracking sometimes, because when you're doing something new, it takes you out of your comfort zone, and you've done so much prep work into it. That's kind of like a website for a lot of us. You'll get the content and you'll get to a point where you're like, let's just scrap the whole thing. I'm moving on. And I encourage and urge you to carry on and move forward, because most people don't. Most people are the ones stopping and saying, it's too much. I don't want to do it. So if you want to stand out, like, there are a lot of yoga teachers who have websites, but most of them don't. I don't know the exact statistics, but I'll tell you that most of them don't have a website, and if they do, most of them are not functional, or they're old or outdated. So if you want to stand out, it's one key way you really can. Yeah. More folders. Yes. Spell check too. Oh my goodness. Yes. Spell check, like the folders, rethinking using a new version of AI, because spell check. Yeah. This spell check. You want to make sure, things are spelled correctly. Oh, you want to see a photo of my tech setup right now with my cameras and lights? Oh, wait, a photo of your tech setup. You want to see a photo? Okay. Well, if you go to my YouTube channel, my latest video is my tech setup. So I walk you through what I'm set up here. So you'll see that. And yeah, so I have that on my latest YouTube video, is my equipment for 2025. So if you want to watch that, it's on there. I don't have a picture, but I have a video. Yeah. Right now, this is my yoga space that I teach and do videos in. And I set it up where my desk is this way to have a good background. I don't know. Anyway, that's a different topic. I'm using 2 microphones right now. This is a Rode Wireless Micro. both for iPhone. I'm on Instagram Live right now, and also for my computer. This is the USB-C. This one's the iPhone one. There's 2 different color options. So yeah, it's the Rode Wireless Micro. Shout out to Rode. They're awesome. Go to ashesyoga.com/RODE for my affiliate link. Shout out. How long do I keep my newsletter in your drive? You can keep it. So if you are writing documents, if you have documents that you're writing, how long do you keep your newsletter or what you write in your Google Drive? Those are such small file sizes. You could keep them there forever. You don't need to delete those. You don't need to delete Word documents or spreadsheets because the file size of those is so small compared to like an image. I would say the first thing you want to get rid of if you're trying to keep storage size small is your images and videos. But if you wrote something, I would keep it there forever because I would love to in the future search. Like what I did today or yesterday, I did the YouTube course launch back in September, and I'm using some of the concepts. And so I had to go and search for, what was the email that I wrote for YouTube? And I just searched for the email there. I'm not going to rewrite it completely the same, but what was the YouTube email that I wrote for the YouTube challenge? I'm going to rewrite it for the website challenge. And so searching in Google Drive, I can find that email easily. So if you're like, I know I talked about something in my January newsletter last year, but I can't remember what it was, you can just go find it. So keep it there. Yeah. Christina has the Rode mic and has been intimidated to try to use it. Which one? The micro? Because the micro is so unintimidating. You seriously just plug it in and go. It looks like this. It comes in this case. Plug it. Oh, well, that's right. Plug it in, and then there's 2 microphones. I always just keep one in there, plug it in and go. You don't have the micro. Okay. Well, now we're getting into microphones. So if you mean you have like one like this, the box ones. Yeah. I got lots and lots of tips on that. You can reach out to me. I actually love it when people reach out to me directly if they're having microphone issues. So if it has to do with the Rode Wireless Go, hit me up on Instagram, Ashes Yoga, and send a picture of your setup if it's not working, and I can help you troubleshoot it. So that's one thing I like to do for free just to help you out. No, I think it's really fun because there's little nuances and tips. So if you do have microphone troubles, I also do tech troubleshooting frequently, at least monthly, inside of my membership with my members. So we'll go through on Zoom together all of the things that like all your troubles and woes when it comes to technology. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Chris has a DJI. I do not have any experience with the DJI microphone, but I've heard it's great. It's a great, like, Rode microphones, DJI, both great quality. And you might just need a different cable for your Bluetooth speaker. It's usually a cable issue. Anyways, any other website things? Looking forward to tomorrow, which is going to be content creation. I was gonna do content creation as 2 days or the core content, but we're gonna move a little faster. It's a boot camp, so that means strength, resilience. We're getting it done. We're doing it. Yeah. I know we're going a little longer here, but that's okay. Sometimes I like to just chit chat with you. Oh, here. Let's put this back up. So what's coming up tomorrow? Core content. We're going to gather your bio, a headshot. You can do it together if you want. Use your phone, take a picture, class descriptions, testimonials, and more. So some core content, at least to get a homepage website up. So like your first initial homepage, so that it's when it's time to build your website, you are ready to go. So we'll get those all completed. There we go. On your website, are you able to keep a library of videos of your choice of teaching? I mean, from your own self? Yeah, I have a whole library of my own videos on my website. Did I not show you? Yay, good. Oh, yeah, the workbook was fun to create. Let's go back to here. Let's show you. I think I'm going to do a little bit of a show and tell later too on a different video. But on my website, I have a couple websites. Like my Offering Tree website, I have a class library where you can I got a whole class library where every morning 4 mornings a week, let's click in one. I record a video, or I'm on Zoom. I record the video and I upload the replay right here. And it is 30 minutes every single day, or you can create what I want. I have a whole system and a process for this. This is like beyond basic website building though, but I want to show you what's possible so that you understand, like, it's not just a static page that says, here's my information, that's it, now call me. No, like, you can create memberships, class libraries, schedules, things that are all automated within your website. So it can be something that works for you. And it's not just a website that's like stuck and that's it, or like it's not just information, it's actually interactable. Like, you can interactive. You can register for classes, you can buy things, you can, in order to see these videos, you have to join for $25 a month in my membership. So that's a lot of stuff that's like beyond the basics of website building. And I think a lot of us want to get to that point so fast. Like, I just want to have my class library up and tell me how to do that. But you still don't have the basics in your organization set yet. So we can talk all about recording and all that on a different day. This is actually something I have went in depth in my membership. I have a section on building a membership, an online membership. I personally do not record on Zoom. I use QuickTime. I compress using Handbrake. And then I upload it to OfferingTree directly. So that's like that's like the quick, like, here's what I do, but I'm not giving you the full step-by-step. I can't hear that would be another hour to talk about that. But yeah, there's a lot more you can do beyond just like a homepage. Like, there's so much more, which is what I hope for you, that you'll do that. So sticking with the basics, we're going to create like a homepage and about page. And then if you want to move on and do a little more, you'll have some options. We'll cover those towards the end of this. Okay, I was trying to get that away. All right, that's day one. Thank you. Woo, thank you so much. Do your homework, post in the yoga business and online teaching tips group. I'm going to have a couple prompts up there. It was like, share one of your favorite inspiring websites, and also, what prompt did you put in, or something. I'll share a couple homework things in there. And so if you want to share and communicate with each other, go over to the Yoga Business and Online Teaching Tips Facebook group, the business one, not the sequencing one, the business one. And we can, chat. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Julie. If you're at all considering the business membership, I have a membership, I can't recommend it enough. Just joined last month, it's blown away. Oh, it's so nice. I need to screenshot that. Boop. What is this doing? Sorry, did I take this off? Sorry, guys. I'm on Instagram Live too. I'll probably just remove that video, but I just wanted to share here. You can watch the replay on YouTube if you want the full presentation. All right, and I did make this public too, this first one. All right. Pocket of Cards, who are you? You're in my business. You're in my academy and my membership. Who is that? Pocket of Cards. It's funny because I'll see the YouTube names. I don't see your actual names because this is a YouTube Live. That's funny. Like Encounter Yoga. I know you're Amy though, so. Yeah, you're welcome. Well, we have 4 more days of this, so stay tuned. I'm going to end this now, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow at the same time. We'll talk about writing your core content, gathering your core content. Get those Google Drive folders ready because they're going to be used. Okay, bye.